Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us once again. This is lovecodings.com. You can join us on our Facebook page, Love Coding, or on our YouTube channel, Love Coding. We are still talking about Python basics on our Python tutorials, working with Python 3.6 on the Spider editor and the IPython console. Remember, you can get this environment from downloading Anaconda from Google. Download Anaconda for free, and you can get this environment for Python. So we are discussing Python basics. We've talked about Python strings, Python lists, Python functions, Python models, Python dictionaries, and Python tuples. Today, we want to look at Python files, inputs and outputs. Before now, we have basically printed our output on the screen on the IPython console here, using the print statement like this one here. Print, just use the print statement and display our result on the screen. That is what we've been doing. And then to get an input from the user, we have been using the input statement to get input from the keyboard. So the variable here equals any variable at all equals input in bracket, then you put a parenthesis. If you like to include a string in it to tell the user what to enter, it's fine. Then use the print statement to display the value the user has entered on the screen. So this line allows the user to enter a value from the keyboard. We can run that and see what it is on the console. So enter input, just like we have here. You enter any value you like. So you have entered this. You have entered the value of any string, which is the value the user has entered. But today we want to see how to store our results in the file. Open the file and access the values or the content of the file. For us to do that, let's talk about how to open and close a file. To open a file in Python, you basically use the open statement or the open function. Using this simple syntax here, file object, that's the name of the variable to store the content of the file, equals open the file name, the access mode, and buffering in case you want to buffer. Now the access mode could be R, which is read. So you're opening the file for reading. You want to read the content of the file. R plus, read the content of the file and create a new one if it's not available. W, write to file. So whatever output you want to make, you make it out to a file. W plus, write the content to a file and create a new file if that file specified is not available. A is to append to an existing file. A plus is to append to an existing file and create the file if it's not already available. Now, to open a file, we just simply use this line. Any name, any variable here equals open, the name of the file for writing. Can put any name as a variable here to store the content of the file. So, but here we have not written anything to it. We just simply use the print statement to get this information. Print the name of the file, that is my file.name. Print whether the file is closed or not, my file.closed, like question, the boolean value. Print opening mode, what mode what mode is the file opened. So this is basically just information we want to get from the file. We have not actually written anything to the file. We can run this. So a file has been created. The name of the file is anyfile.txt. A very important thing you need to know is where is the file stored. We have not declared any file path here, but we're working in this directory here. So when you create a new file, automatically it's stored in this directory. If you don't want to use this directory, then you can go and get the address of the directory you want to use, where you want to store the file. You get the directory. For instance, I want to store it here. You go get the address of this directory and then place it here. Or you just click on this folder icon here and select the directory where you want to store the file. That same directory that I wanted to store the file. But for now, we're going to be working on this same directory. So any file we're going to create here is automatically stored here. So we have created anyfile.txt. We can go and check it up in the folder. This is the folder. This is the directory. Here, this is it. Anyfile is a text document. So it has been created automatically in this folder or in this path or directory. So we just created a file, but nothing has been written to it. So we can see now, let's see how to write to file or read from a file. So let's talk about the write method. So to use the write method, you open the file just like I've opened it here. You use any name as a variable to name the file, the content of the file. Then you use the write method like this. The name of the variable declared here, which stores the content of the file, .write. So you're going to add this, you're going to write this to the content of the file. So if there's anything already, if you're going to use the write mode, of course, automatically it overwrites whatever is available in the file. So you say file equals this to create the file, but the file is already created before. Then you want to write this to file.write. This file can change the name so that don't get confused. My file, but the names must be the same. So this doesn't matter. What matters is we are dealing with the same file here and here. So any variable can store the content. So changing the name here does not change the name of the file in the directory or the folder where the file is stored, except the name is changed, then a new file is created. Then my file.write this to that file, and anything that has been written to the same file is overwritten, except we change the name of the file. Then that means you are creating a new file, and this value or this content or string will be stored in the new file. But we are still using the old file, so whatever is there is overwritten with this. Then we finally close the file by calling the name of the file object.close. This is very important so that you don't leave a file open for an unwanted. So if you want to read data from the file, you use the read method. So the read method is like this. File equals the same way you open the file, but this time around the access mode is R. File equals open anyfile.txt for reading. This basically reads the content of the file. Right now we just have a line, just a single line of string on the file. So string is a new variable that takes the content of the file that is stored in this file object here and then reads it up to the element in the 10th position. That is a buffering parameter or argument we have here included in the open function. So the open function needs not compulsory actually to include the buffering for the file, for the content of the files. Okay, we're here. So read, you open the file, the content is here. String is another variable that takes the content of the file and read it up to the 10th element. Because it's a single line, it's very easy to just read it and stop at the 10th item on the line. Then you print the content here. This is basically just a string to be displayed on the screen. That's the content of the file buffered at the 10th position. Then you close the file. We run this. Remember, we're opening the file for reading. So read string is it has not read the value. Series string is supposed to read this, but it's not reading it. Let's try this again. Then let's read it again. Yeah. So I wonder why it didn't read complete. So read string is the string. The string is a value of the content of the file up to the 10th position. So this is pi from here. Remember, this is the value, this is content of the file at the moment, because this content has overwritten what was in the file earlier. So, but we're going to buffer the content and stop it at 10. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is why you have this value. This is pi. So that is how to open a file, write to it, and open a file and read from it. If you want to open a file and you think you might forget to close the file, another good syntax or function for opening file is the with statement. Opening the file using the with statement. Here now, instead of saying file equals open this, we said with open. We use the with before you open so as to automatically close the file even if you forget to close it. So with open any file for writing as file, whatever we're going to have now, we overwrite what we have because it's still the same name of file. So with open any file.text for writing as file. So file takes the content of the file. The with here just helps us to automatically close the file in case we forget to add file.close. So my file equals that file, the content of file dot write. Write this to whatever content you have in the file. Automatically it erases everything in the file and write this as a new content of the file. So we don't have this is Python tutorials anymore. We're going to be having this is just an example. So we can run this. So the new file, a file is created now. The file has been opened and a new content has been added to file, which has erased or overwritten everything already in the file. Now I want to open the file to read to be sure we have the same content on the file. So let's open the file and read the content of the file. So this is a new content of the file. This is just because of the buffering. So, but this is just, at least it matches what we have here. So we have created a new file here, change the content of the file here, and then we read it here. So now we want to see how to know the position of the cursor in the file at all time, where the position of the file, where the file is at any moment, where the pointer is pointing to at any moment. To do that, use the tell method and the seek method. So we open the file as usual with open any file.text for reading as file. String equals file, that is this file object here, the content of the file. Read the content and stop at the 10th position. Then this print statement prints whatever value you have here. Now, using the tell statement tells you where the pointer is at the moment. Position equals file.tell. Now, print statement prints the position for us on the screen. So let's see. Remember, this is just a simple example of reading and writing to file. So we'll go to the more serious and advanced parts later. So the print statement prints this. The first print statement prints this, and the second print statement tells us the current file position is at 10. And if we look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is where the pointer is at the moment. So using the tell method, you are able to know where the pointer is at the moment on the file. Now, if you want to move back the pointer to the beginning or to any position, then you use the seek method. And this is how it works. Position equals file.seek. 5 is the first number here is how many bytes or how many items to be ignored. That is offset. How many bytes are you going to ignore? Then the second position, this second item here stands for so many things. First, if you use 0 here, it means starts from the beginning. If you use 1, if you put 1 here, it means starting from the current position, which is 10 at the moment. And if you put 2 here, it means start at the end of the file. So you can easily change this value to be 0, 1, or 2. If it is 0, it's going back to the beginning part of the file. If it is 1, it starts whatever it's going to do at the position where it is. If it is 2, the pointer moves to the end of the file and then start the operation from there. The execution starts from there. So remember I said 5 here is how many bytes is going to be ignored. How many bytes of items is going to be ignored. So, but before you ignore that, you start from the beginning because it's 1. So it's going to start from the beginning. Remember the content of the file is, this is just an example. That's just all to have in the file for now. Let me look for it. This is what to have on the file for now. This is just an example. And we're telling pointer now, trying to move the pointer to the beginning position. And then when you get to the beginning position, it should read the file again because it opened it for reading. Read the file again, omitting or leaving 5 bytes. Read the file again, but this time you start from beginning. You omit 5 bytes, 5 items, or 5 position or 5 elements, and then read from where the 5th element stops or stops here. So string equals file.read. We read the content of file, and then the new string is string. So let's print it again because the file, remember the pointer has now been, look, this is file.seek. This operation here moves the pointer to the beginning and then starts reading from the 5th position. So let's run it. I want to run it without this, and let's see what the error it might give us. Let's run it without that. I want to show you something. He said input-output operation cannot be performed on a closed file. I want to show you that because we use the with statement, we never included file.closed, but automatically the file has been closed. You know, I told you you can use open the file for access mode. File equals the file access mode, or you can use with open. What I'm saying is this: you can open the file directly with output statement like this. File equals open the file for reading, or you can open it with the with statement in case you don't want to close the file. This with statement automatically closes the file. So that is why it's telling us here you cannot perform that operation on a closed file. So to make this work, we have to start from beginning here to run the whole thing together so that the file is open while the operation is going on. So we're talking about the last print statement here. Is going to print string. So the new value of string is the value of the file starting from beginning, omitting 5 bytes. So it starts from beginning. Where is the main? Start from beginning, omit 5 bytes, and print the rest. So let's count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to start from is. So that is why is just an example. This part has been omitted. So that's how the seek method works. The first item on the seek method tells the Python how many bytes to be omitted. Where is it? Yeah. This first item tells Python how many bytes to be omitted. This second item tells Python where to start the omission. So if I change this to 1, it means at the current position, which is 10. So from the current position, it omits 5 items and then read out the rest. And then if I use 2, I've explained that earlier. If I use 2, it starts from the end of the file and leaves 5 items. Of course, at the end of the file, nothing's going to happen, except I want to add, if it's for writing or for appending, that is where 2 will be very useful here. If the access mode is to append, then you declare 2 here for your for this parameter here, for the seek parameter here. Then it will append from the end of the file. So the 2 here will be very useful when you want to append. So the 2 here. So if you like, you can include this, or if you don't include this, automatically it starts from the beginning. So this is the parameter for the seek method, where it's starting from how many bytes to be omitted before it starts reading out. Now, you want to rename or delete file. To rename or delete a file, you have to import the OS module or the OS package. And once the OS package is imported, then anything you want to do is straightforward. The OS module provides methods that help you to manage your file generally, help you perform file processing operations such as renaming and deleting files, rename method, remove method. Okay, these are the methods you have here. Okay, so when you import the OS package or the OS operator module, then you can call os.the_rename method. So it renames this file from what the name it has been, any file. So it renames it from any file, it makes it now to any file 2, and then it removes it. So let's put the comment and see. So let's rename the file. Already we know the name of the file. I will have seen the file in the directory. This is on this directory, don't forget. So we can run it now. So this file has been renamed. So to verify, you can go here. So any file has become any file 2. It was originally any file. So the OS module has helped us to rename our file. Going further, directories, that is folders. Like I'll be talking about these directories. So let's talk about it. Python directories. So we can use these methods to work with your directories in Python. You can make a new directory, change directory, make directory method, change directory method, get your working directory, which is this one. This is our working directory. I think that's the last method. Okay, rename, remove directory. So you can do all this. So if I normally have to import the OS already imported, so even if I don't include it here, it's already imported. In Python, import once, import a package once. Okay, I wanted to put a comment. Fine. So you just have to import a package once and then you can use it as long as you're still on the same section. Everything is running as a full section. So os.make directory, you want to make a new directory. Let's call it my tutorial, anything, my tutorial. So we're going to make a new folder in this directory. We're going to make a new folder. Everything you're doing right now is in this directory. If you don't want to put it in this directory, you can go and change it here, or you change it from here. So, but for the meantime, let's make a new directory. We'll look at it, that we can change the directory. Remember, the OS is already imported. So just make a new directory. Nothing is here because the directory is made in this path, in this directory. So we see what they call it, my tutorial. My tutorial. So this is the new directory you just created, my tutorial. And remember, it's in that path, a Python tutorials. That is where it's going to be. But this is a working directory. You can see it here. Let's get our working directory. So this is our working directory, which is the same directory here. And this, we want to change directory to another directory. So, okay, this is the same. So let's go and get the name of another directory and change this directory to another one, change to another folder. So you come here, we want to use this folder. So select this folder and get the address of the folder. You copy the address of the folder. Then go back here and put the address. Put the address of the folder here. Delete. Yeah, this is going out. The folder is in another folder. This test folder is in the same directory, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're changing. We don't want to be storing our values, our new files here. We want to be storing them inside this test folder. So we want to change directory. In Python, you need to double the slash, or else it will tell you that file path is not recognized as a file path. You can try that. So run it with one slash and it will give you error. So, but we have not included the name of the directory, which is test. That is the name of the directory. We want to open this folder here so that I'll be working with that path, so that everything we do now will be stored on that directory. So let's run this. So we're going to create a new folder now. So you see, it has changed the directory and added test. So whatever we're doing now is no longer stored in this directory. It's now stored in this folder because we have changed the folder to a new folder. So that is how to use the OS package or module in Python to work with directories or folders in Python. You can use it to make a new directory. My tutorial we have made here. Change the directory you're working on to a new directory, but first you need to go copy the path or the path here, that path of the directory, and put it here. If you're working on Spider, actually, I've not tried it on Idle. If you're working on Spider, you need to make the slash double, or else Python will not see it as a valid path. Then this os.get working directory tells you, if you cannot see it here, you can use this to run it and see the directory you're working on. So we're going to stop here. That is the end of our discussion today for simple file input and output. In our advanced topics, we'll talk about other ways to get data and how to store them using different formats. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you're going to be you're going to drop your comments and contribution. Please share our channel. If you're on our YouTube channel, share and subscribe. If you're on our Facebook page, like and share and invite your friends to join. And if you're on our website, please drop your comments, and you're free to, you have your materials, you're free to do your practice test anytime. Thank you for joining us today. This is still Luvcoding.